This tutorial is about major regions in NLP++. Now let's take a look at our analyzer for this tutorial. One of the things you've got to understand from the beginning is that the passes in the analyzer sequence don't all have to be rule passes or rule matching. You can execute code, you can declare functions, you can even make a way of making a README file or documentation. So we're going to take a look at that. Each pass has to have some executable code in it. And I'm not talking about code regions, anything, rules or functions, whatever, has to have something. So even your documentation pass has to have something in it. Normally you have a code at region where you set a local variable to 0. Doesn't do much, but it has to have that for now. In the future, we should have a pass for documentation. But here you would do all your documentation. It has to be a comment. Remember, you can right click and use the comment line. It will uncomment or comment line. You can also use the duplication line, which is very handy. It's Control Shift D, and you can make your documentation here. You can even write it offline, bring it in, tab it over, and then sweep on the entire area and like this and hit on comment line. So that's how you can do that. So you can make a pass really just for comments if you want, or README. Another pass you can do, obviously you saw, is code. What is code? It just executes NLP++ code. Some of the things we do: set some global variables, call some functions, build some knowledge base, also output information, for instance, to a text file. Maybe we're outputting an HTML document. In this pass, we just want to put out the header in the beginning. So those are all the kinds of things you can do. You can execute NLP++ code. Now, this other region we have is called the declare region or decal region for functions. It must have functions, and they must be in the form of function name, open paren, close paren. You can have variables, local variables as being passed to them. Open curly bracket, close curly bracket. Those are required, and they can only be functions. The interesting thing is that when we execute this code, you notice I'm calling some function here when it's declared. I'm calling it in pass 3, but it's declared in pass 4. That's fine. What NLP++ does is it goes through all the passes first, finds all the declare areas, makes those functions, and they're available anywhere in the analyzer sequence. And then finally, of course, you're familiar, probably more familiar if you watched the other tutorial about the rules region, where you have a rules, you have a context first, the nodes or path or multi here, that's the context, and then you have a rules and the other things. You can have more than one rule. I'm not going to talk about rules today. This is really about the regions, and I hope this gives you a good idea of how to use a region. So don't be afraid to use documentation regions, put your code, have code regions. And normally, another question you may have, do you put them together? You can put some of them together, but we recommend that you keep these things usually separate. Your functions in a pass, your code executions where you need them, but not mixing and matching those things. Not normally a practice, but you can do it.